Hi, and welcome to It's All in the Word. I'm Elder Vicki Abadi. I'm with the Church Without Walls. And I just want to share with you today, every once in a while I like to do the Let's Be Real, where I'm not, it is all in the Word, but where I just speak from my heart. And I can't expect anybody to be real that I'm speaking to if I can't even be real. This is not me. Normally I sit in an oversized sweatshirt, baggy jeans, and underneath this desk I actually have my tennis shoes on. I don't wear jewelry, usually don't even wear a watch. And so that's where I want to start this. We need to be real. We're called to be Christ-minded and Christ-like, to walk in His footsteps. And it's not about how we look and the pleasures of this world. It's all about Him. Now remember, healing and deliverance. He fed the multitude. He healed the sick. He laid hands on the sick and healed them. He clothed the widows and orphans. We're to watch out for the widows and the orphans. So that's where I want to take us today. Like I said, this isn't really me. Like I said, if I was sitting here in a baggy sweatshirt and some jeans, and that would be me. And so we're just going to be real today and talk about the Lord. It's hard. Remember, we're commanded to make disciples of all nations. Not just to preach the gospel, but to live it. We are commanded to do that. We are the light. It's our fruits, or the fruit of the Lord, the fruit of the Spirit that are going to shine through, that are going to connect with people. Not what color our fingernail polish is or anything else. And I'm not, you know, everybody likes to get dressed up or whatever. Okay, it's just, I have to be real in order to share this message with you. And my heart is real right now. It's the heart of the Father. And what He wants us to do, like I said, He fed the multitude. You cannot share the gospel and expect people to hear it over the grumbling of their own hungry stomach. We cannot share the gospel without first sharing the warmth in these cold winter days. They're not going to hear it over their own chattering teeth. And when somebody is so sick and so suffering, they're not going to see Jesus through their own pain. And that is why Jesus does what He does, and that's why He commanded us to walk in His footsteps, for us to pick up our cross and follow Him. We all have crosses to bear, and we need to do that. That's what I mean about being real. The important thing isn't how we look. I don't have the eloquent words of man, but I know in my heart that God is real, that He's my purpose, He's my one. He's my all in all. And that's what I was created for. That's what we were created for, to make disciples of all nations. When Paul was sitting in prison, he wasn't feeling sorry for himself that he couldn't be with Timothy, or that he couldn't be with the brethren. Although it's evident in the Word that he thought about it a lot, but his main purpose was not feeling sorry for himself. Remember Paul and Silas in the midnight hour, the darkest point. We're singing praises to the Lord in the darkest hour. So it's not how we live. It is how we live this life, but it's not how we live it in the earthly realm. We're not measured by the world's successes, and we're not measured by worldly value. It's spiritual value. How profitable are we to the kingdom? Each and every one of us. I was at the food shelf this morning, and the Salvation Army too. And they emulate. It's this kind of people that have a better message than I do. It's the man behind the food shelf desk, and he can barely walk. But he goes and he takes these groceries and carries them to the desk. It's the messengers are out there. I'm going to use the Salvation Army and the bell ringers. They're braving the cold. It's really easy for me to sit here right now and share a message, share a word with you. And that's what I mean about being real. We're called to live a life that just shows the love of our Lord. And remember, he laid down his life for each and every one of us. So it's not how we look. It's not even, well, it is partially what we say. Because we can speak curses or we can speak life over ourselves and others. But it's not the eloquence of man. It's more what we do in our actions that show the love. That's what I said about these people out there braving the cold and ringing those bells. They're actually sending a brighter message than I could ever speak. They're giving of that agape love that only comes from the Father. Only comes from the Father. That selfless, sacrificial love that our Lord has for us each and every day. He wakes us up in the morning. He carries us through each day. And it's these, not so much in the spiritual leaders that speak today. I have to say it's more in the actions, more in the actions. We're called to be proactive. And we can talk about Jesus fed the multitude. They were hungry. They were hungry. And we can talk about that all we want, but until we've actually maybe been a little hungry or shared a meal with somebody, we can't know that joy. We can't grow in the love of our Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm just encouraging everyone today just to be real, to ask, seek, and knock until you can finally, not finally, because we're always a work in progress until the day we go home, but ask, seek, and knock that we can all become more Christ-like. Be productive in the kingdom, bringing people to Christ, laying hands on the sick, feeding the hungry, and sharing the gospel, sharing the love of our Lord Jesus Christ that he had for us. He didn't just talk about it. He didn't just talk about it. He lived it. And that's what we need to do today. not just as a nation, but as a world. Like I said, you're not going to be able to effectively share the love of God until you can emulate and show that love. And it's a selfless love. It's a sacrificial love. And it's not feelings or anything else. It's about every word you speak, every action taken. And that's my message I want to share with you today because, you know, I see all the ads for Christmas, and it's really heart-wrenching to think that Jesus Christ, they're saying that well, this isn't the time that Jesus was born anyway, but that's for another day. But this holiday is to celebrate Jesus, and it's full of a lot of stress. Marketing, living, what does that saying go? Keeping up with the Joneses. You know, this one got a Cabbage Patch doll, so my daughter better get a Cabbage Patch doll. It's all in superficial. And I don't want to say heartless because it's a moneymaker. It's a moneymaker. We all know that. It's very commercial, and it really has very little to do about celebrating the fact that Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, God with us, He came and He was a living example of how we should be. Two things always stick in my mind is where Jesus presented himself as other than a humble servant. One was when he allowed borrowed a donkey and rode into Jerusalem, and the other time was before his crucifixion. He allowed the alabaster box was broken, and he allowed himself to be anointed. That's selfless love. That's selfless love. Other than that, he walked everywhere. He didn't have a private jet or a valuable car collection. And it's true what they say, you know, the more you have, the more you can become slave to. And that's fine. Prosperity, God does want us to prosper. That's fine. But what I'm saying is the basis should be Jesus Christ, His love, His selfless love. And then anything else is just extra. But that's got to be the basis for everything we do, and everything we emulate has to be Christ-like. And that's my message for today. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you again next time. And it's all in the Word.